You done made it to the Queen's Corner. Let's get wrapped. Welcome to the Q. Welcome to the Queen's Corner. Let's get wrapped. Welcome to the
Queen's Corner. Let's get wrapped.
Down, shaking together, running over.
We ready for you.
Welcome
To the Queen's Corner. Let's get wrapped.
Down, shaking together, running over.
We ready for you. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome, 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 welcome back to the Queen's Corner. Let's get wrapped. Welcome to season 2. Thank you so much. We made it to season 2. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm Audrey. I thank you so much for joining me at QueenMother TV. We had our test pilot. Thank you for season 1 for joining me and Renee all during our 4 episodes of season number 1 of QueenMother TV. And now we're going on, take this show on the road. We're going on. QueenMother TV, welcome to the Q. We ready for you. Press down, shaking together, running over. We ready for you. Welcome to the Queen's Corner. Let's get wrapped. Welcome to the Q. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It has been a journey. It's not easy doing this. I applaud every podcaster and everyone who has graced the microphone, who has sat behind the desk, or however you do it. It is not easy, but it is so much fun. I'm having so much fun. I'm telling you, every day I'm just learning some new stuff about this equipment and technology and the ability that we have. But I'm so grateful for each and every one of you, and thank you for spending this time with me. We want to be able to entertain, to inspire, to uplift and encourage, and bring you some wisdom and millennium news that you can use, because a lot of times so much is going on in the world. So much is going on that we can hardly digest it all. And a lot of times our spirit becomes saturated, so to speak, with the energies that come from taking in everything that's going on around us. So much is going on around us and happening so fast and in real time that maybe we can't always process it, or we don't get it all. Like one news outlet may run a story, but maybe it's not on all channels or on all sources. So you miss out, you don't hear really the details of it. You may hear bits and pieces, but the news that matters to us, we can't miss it. We can't miss it, even though sometimes it's just overwhelming. And I understand that every day to be tapped into news can really bring you down. But we cannot be so blinded to what is going on. Every day, the different developments with the judicial decisions that impact us, that could take us back to the Jim Crow era. This is certainly occurring right now. Just recently, we learned that over 17,000 employees of Spirit Airlines just lost their jobs overnight, just like that. Some merger or some financial situation occurred, and the bailout that they thought was imminent fell through at the last minute. And so now we see that really nothing is as it seems. Nothing is as it seems. When overnight a company can just be wiped off the books, then you know that nothing is secure. That we have been putting, it seems, all of our hopes and all of our dreams into a bag of holes. That's what it seems like. That's what it feels like. But I'm hearing some good news, because, listen, desperation brings creativity. I have heard that over $22 million has been raised in the crowdsourced funding opportunity to perhaps maintain the operation, make it functional again, and then everyone who has invested can become stakeholders and partners, have a vested interest and a partnership with the new Spirit Airlines. So this is something that's taking place, and this is what happens when people, put their minds together, when people really understand the power that we have collectively. When we join our forces together, we can do something. And systemically, we can make real changes. I know it seems hard, but like the things that are being proposed, if we were on one accord, they couldn't do it successfully. If people stood 10 toes down and if we stood together and things that mattered most to us, we see a change. We see a change. And right now, it's Spirit Airlines, but tomorrow it could be any company or any entity, because now the corporations are coming full out in the open as to who their interest serves. And the corporate interest always only serves the bottom line. And the bottom line is to always stay in the black. The bottom line for every corporation is to always appease your investors and your backers and to always stay in the black. Because the moment you start not being able to maintain and bring forth a full profit for your investors and your stockholders and those that have an invested interest in your corporation, then they will force you to make certain changes. And so I believe this is what may have happened here with Spirit. But I also understand that when one door closes, 2 or 3 of them open up. When one door closes, just start looking. I mean, it's easy to be overwhelmed with news. I mean, it's easy to get taken off your square when you hear something that's devastating, that's going to impact your livelihood, that's going to impact your family, that's going to impact your ability to just stay mobile from day to day and take care of your own needs. Then it's easy to get knocked off your square when you find out that something has happened that's going to change the outcome of that situation. I'm here to encourage you. I want to encourage you because I know that it looks bleak and it don't feel good, but it's time to shift. That's a word that has been reverberating. It's shifting time. It's shifting time. If you haven't felt it, it is certainly a time to consider where you are and where you are hoping to be, and the things that we have counted on as permanent in our lives now are revealing to us that nothing is as it seems. And so the best way to be able to maneuver through a shifting time, first of all, is to breathe. First of all, is to know that no matter what happens, that all things are working together. All things are working together. It may not feel good because no change that takes you out of a comfortable situation feels good. But it's necessary. And sometimes in order to grow, we won't let go of a situation that may have us in a stuck situation, but sometimes we get yanked out. There has to be an interruption, but for certain, change is a part of life. And oftentimes, it will catch the best of us off guard. If you don't have an anchor, my grandmama used to say, make sure your anchor holds. You have an anchor in the Word. You have an anchor. It say, on Christ the solid rock I stand. Yeah. And all other ground is sinking sand. So they had an anchor in the Word so that whenever times would come that would be disturbing, they could go back and pull some encouragement and something to sustain them from the Word. This is what we're going to have to do. In this time, we're going to have some Word. We're going to have some faith. And we're going to need one another. We're going to have to change the ways that we've been accustomed to doing things. You know, we've gotten so comfortable relying on stores and being able to just go to the store. It's just something simple as that, just being able to just get in your car and go to the store. And now we see gas is upwards of $5 a gallon. So just getting in your car going anywhere is going to be some major consideration. But it is time for us to think about different and alternative ways where we can live, still have peace, still have, you know, safe and secure quality of life, but we're going to have to re-examine the things that we think are important as we see things are shifting economically all around us, people losing jobs, or people not really being able to earn enough even to keep up with the rising costs of living. You know, it's getting so expensive now to be able to rent or to buy. We all know this. And so we know that we're working 2 jobs now to make the income of 1 salary in order to live. But it seems like even that may not be enough. And it has an effect on our family. It has an effect on the way we think. It has an effect on the way we treat one another. We're always burnt out and tired from working all the time. We have less time for relationships, less time for doing the things that God has brought us here to do. So it's time for a change. And if we don't willingly make changes, sometimes situations come in life to force us out of situations that were never really conducive for us anyway. So the system seems to be correcting itself in a lot of ways, and we may be feeling like collateral damage and all of it, but all is not lost. I am encouraged. I'm encouraged by the news, you know, when I see that people are pooling their resources, when people are able to do things like growing their own food. You know, for one thing, for me, I saw every day there's a recall on something at the grocery store. Every time you go to the store, you know, they're talking about the different forever chemicals being sprayed on our fruits and on our vegetables. And so I thought right away, in order to eliminate that, the things that we use the most, like the onions and the bell peppers, I'm gonna grow them, you know. And so this forced me, hearing all this dire news all the time about the quality of our food and who's handling our food or not handling it properly. It drew me into, you know, a mindset of wanting to provide a better quality of food, you know, especially my fruits and my vegetables. So those are small ways, but I know, you know, we say we live in big cities or we live in places that are not conducive, small, you know, areas. But I'm telling you that whatever the reasons that we used to use, those reasons, those were the reasons we used before. They are not good enough now. Now we have to overcome every obstacle before us and know that the most important thing is to prioritize growing your own food. Everyone should have 2 or 3 pots on their home, growing something, because it's time to get back to the ways that we were. I mean, we're conditioned and programmed. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm seeing how from day one it's been a concerted effort to program a nation of people to believe that you can't do these things on your own. But our mothers, our fathers, our grandmothers, and great-grandmothers particularly, honey, the only thing they went to the store for maybe was sugar or something like that. They made their own butter. I mean, they grew everything. Grandpa used to say, shoot, you know, bread was, what, 10 cents? A loaf of bread was 10 cents. You didn't have to buy anything. When you talk to him, everything was a nickel back then. Oh, we've come a long way. But the thing about it was they didn't have to buy a lot because the basic things they had. I think it's time. It's time to just think about it, consider better ways in which to maintain our own health rather than relying on the news or relying on agencies and governmental agencies. Can we really, 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 really trust the news that we're hearing? FDA and things that they've been advising us, on our health and our needs. And now we're finding out years later how some of those things were not true. So we're always going to find discrepancies. And the best way is to start taking back control of our own lives. First of all, first and foremost, know that no one can advocate for me better than me. Nobody knows me better than me and knows my needs better than me. So I'm not going to give the role and responsibility and position to some governmental agency to tell me what's best for me and how I should survive. That's where we are. I pray, right now that everybody is just taking inventory of what's going on. That we are really not too distracted to understand that this is a whole different time that we're in. This is a different time and a different season. And the best way is to be kind of like water. Because you're going to have to float through it. You can't fight it. You can't fight change. Those that are upset because it's changing and they don't feel empowered to do anything to resist the change. So a lot of the change we cannot resist. We cannot resist the change of it. Robots being introduced into the workplace. We won't be able to resist that unless collectively we unify and make our voices heard in a tangible way. But until people are really, really, really ready to come together and understand, have a meeting of the minds of all the things that impact us all as a whole, then we have to work individually. Unless we can get collectively unification and people that are ready to sit down and come to some strategizing sessions on how we're going to make it. I really don't think the powers that be, I don't think they really have our best interests at heart. They may have some underlying motives and hidden agendas to best serve their interests. So as a people, we have to think now about what is best for us and start making decisions to collectively be able to communicate. That means that we got to put down what? A lot of the animosity and the bitterness that keeps us divided. If I was to program or to try to create a world where I'd have the most control, well, I'd have to have all the people divided against one another in that world that I'm creating, that I'm going to have complete control in. Well, I don't want everybody to be able to rise up against me, right? So I'm going to have them not liking one another based on the way they look and based on the area that they live in, based on their religion, based on their sexual orientation. I'm going to keep them all mad and frustrated with one another so that they feel like their next door neighbor is their enemy. And the only one that they can trust is me. Now I've got full control. And I think in a very basic way, that's us. Because we don't trust one another, but we trust the doctors, or we trust the judges, the judicial systems, the court systems, the police, the military. We trust everybody. We trust ourselves. We don't trust our neighbors. We don't trust one another to care for one another. So there's a shifting that's taking place all across the board. But I'm just super, super excited because change is here. Change is here. And change is going to, after you start digging it up, it's going to get better. It can only get better. I see a day when people are going to be empowered to know who they really are. You know, the things that have been withheld. I believe that in this new day, we're all going to feel much closer to our true identities as who we really are, who God has created us to be in His image and in His likeness. I want to say Happy Mother's Day right now to all the mothers, because this is a time when I know so many have relationships with their parents, with their mothers especially. Some good and some are not so good. Some are often conflicted, you know, in their relationships with their mother. And I'm one of them who have often had some conflicts in my relationships with my children, you know. So when Mother's Day comes around, it used to send me into a serious depression, you know, because I knew that there were some relationships that still had some issues that were really, really deep-seated, unresolved issues. And so when Mother's Day comes around, it kind of makes you feel like you're a failure as a mother if you're not in communication with your children, or if you don't have a resolve to the issues that you have with your children. When Mother's Day comes around, you can kind of feel hollow is a word that comes to mind. I mean, Mother's Day is celebrated is probably next to Christmas. They say Mother's Day is one of the most major holidays because we have been again conditioned to our holidays, right? And so this is the major one that we've been programmed from birth. You know, you honor your mother on Mother's Day. But like I said, sometimes our mothers are gone. Mothers have passed on. You know, the relationship is not like it used to be, or, you know, there's been a lot of hurt and anger, sadness. And so we can't celebrate like we see all the celebrations are going on around us. And so we may internalize that. But right now, I want to send a spirit of refreshing to that whole thing, because all things work together. All things are working together even now. And so even though there may be situations in our families that are unresolved, or relationships that are still needing to be healed, this is still a good time to love. Love yourself. You know, if you're not getting the love that you think you should get from someone else, or from some friend, or from some family, then take the time, rather than to lash out or go into a more depression over that. Internally, shine a light if you can. Shine a light where you feel like that attention has not shown, where you have not received that love. Begin to lavish it on yourself. Begin to treat yourself a little better. When you see yourself, smile at yourself, you know. When you pass the mirror, smile rather than frown, you know. Or when you have a taste for a special treat, indulge. And tell yourself, I celebrate you. This is a time really to celebrate the small things as well as the big things. Celebrate it all. Don't wait for a special occasion to have a party. Celebrate. We had for the first time, and it saddens me now when I think about it, but my grandmother made 99, yes, 99 years old, the matriarch of our family, her birthday this past March. And so we threw a party. It was fun. Everybody came, all the family, and she was so excited. And the thing that, you know, after it was all said and done, the thing that stuck out the most was she said to me, this is the first time I've ever had a party. My 99-year-old grandmama had never had a party, and I thought about that. I'd never threw a party. I've never had a party, come think of it. So, but for her, 99, she's never celebrated herself. She's been there for all of us, you know. All her life is a life of service. That's all she's known is service. And she's never celebrated herself. And so I just thank God for an opportunity to celebrate her and have all the family that came and just show her, you know, that you are loved. Because sometimes you get so used to giving out. You get so used to pouring out. You get so used to being that one that's always the loyal one and dependable one that you stop expecting people to be there. So I'm grateful that situations, time, experiences will show us what to value, what's really important. Because a lot of times, you know, we think it's the house, it's the jewelry, or to be able to, you know, have the designer this or that, or to travel, whatever it is. But I'm thinking now, our valuables are the things that are most intangible. The things that are most valued. Your health is your wealth. Your health, your peace of mind, your sanity, your ability to remember and to think cognitively. Because I look at my mom, and all her life she's been well-spoken, articulate, beautiful spirit, always there. And today, it's very hard for her to cognitively put what she's thinking into words. It's very hard due to dementia and the effects of dementia. It's hard for her to remember. And so can you imagine short term, saying something and then 5 minutes later not knowing what you said, or within 5 minutes not knowing. That happens to us now because intermittently your memory comes and it goes. But that is a real blessing now, after being around people that have a difficulty recalling. Now I know that a blessing is to be able to remember. Because some memories you want to remember. Some memories I don't want to remember. But it's some I do. It's a lot of them I can't recall. But you know what? It's some of them I wish I could. But over time, we can't hold everything in our mind space. So I guess our bodies have a way of processing it. But those are the things that I'm finding, that I'm blessed to have health, peace of mind. And I had to fight to get the peace of mind because there's so many things just in a normal life that can happen. Life be life. They say life be life, and life be showing out. Life be out here cutting up, you know. But wisdom says this too shall pass. Wisdom says breathe, child. Wisdom says don't get all riled up about that situation. Go on, take a break, you know. If you can, pause. Or if you have someone that can speak wisdom into your life, they'll tell you, keep living. The ones that live the longest are the ones that learn how to process it and keep living. And not take it to heart. But you don't come here knowing that. And especially the young folks, everything is a beef. Everything is a beef. Everything is worth beefing about. Taking it to the head. If somebody look at you wrong or look at you too long. Because in Chicago, we got that way. We look at you dead in your face. Because we want to see if we recognize you. Is this somebody I know? Because even though it's a big city, it's a small city. Even though it's a big city, you will run into people you know here. Because of the way we move, you'll be able to see some people that you know, but now oftentimes you don't remember. and that's the thing. So being blessed has many forms. It's not just the money. It's not just the houses, because you can have a big house. And the bigger the house, of course, the bigger the maintenance and upkeep and the expenses. So when you ask for the big blessings, when you ask for the expensive homes and the expensive cars, the maintenance alone requires extra budgets. But it's not just those things that make you blessed. I think it's the love, real love, knowing that somebody loves you whether you had 2 nickels to rub together or not. Somebody loves you. Whether you can give them anything back, or they care enough to check on you, to just want to know how you're doing. And even if they can't come personally, they'll send up a prayer for you. If you got somebody like that in your life that is genuinely concerned about you know, your family, your welfare, not because of who you are or what you did for them or what you can give them, but because of the relationship that you have with them. Cherish them. Cherish them. I mean, real friends, real relationships are invaluable. Anybody can be a fake friend today, or we can kiki and ha-ha and make you think we friends all day. But a friend, a real friend, sticks closer than a brother. You will find out who they are and who they aren't at those most crucial times. So much is going on, and not just in our own families and in our own personal lives, but in the church. So much is going on in the government, and we see where they say judgment will first begin at the house of God. We see where we're all having to take a second look, consider our ways and our doings. We're all having to examine ourselves, examine our hearts, examine the ways that we've fallen short. But what do? Oh, we're going to find a way to point our fingers at somebody else that slipped up and got caught up. But don't you know that it could have been you? It could have been me. It could be any of us at any given point in time, especially the I. The R and the S is the ones we don't want to mess with, but we do. Oh, we do. And so when we see they reach out and tap one, we know that that is a message, a collective message for all. To know that this is a new system, or this is a new time, and that if they can reach out and touch someone on that level, or what they think about reaching out and touching you. It doesn't matter that it seems that all the other people that have much more income or higher echelon financially seems to escape the systems. They have all kind of loopholes and escape clauses to get out of having to pay all their taxes. But people like you and me, we better pay. We better pay, or they're coming. But this is not a time to point fingers or cast dispersions on anybody, but just let a man examine himself. And just know, but for the grace of God, there go I. And so in this time, try to have a little compassion, because you may need it. You may need it. It's not something that you can take for granted. Just because you're up on top of the mountain today, it could be your turn, because the world keeps on spinning and times go round and round, right? And so every man has his day. But I'm just grateful that God has given us an opportunity to re-examine ourselves in this time. He's given us a lot of time to really just clean up, get it together, you know, get our little raggedy selves together. So I'm thanking y'all. I'm thanking y'all. I thank all of y'all, because we're not going to make it out of here without each one helping the other. We got to help each other. Don't you know that? We occupy this world together. We in this thing together, whether you like it or not. We're in this thing together. So I'm just thanking you guys. And I thank God also for this opportunity just to be here. This technology that we have, just to be able to push a few buttons and go live or to broadcast your message is awesome. And I thank you all for just taking a moment right now. This would be a great way just to support your girl, support Queen Mother, and let's get wrapped in Queen's Corner by liking and subscribing. You know how this goes. You gotta like and you gotta subscribe. Subscribe so that you can stay up to date on everything that's coming. Thank you so much. Welcome to the Queen's Corner. Let's get wrapped. Oh, welcome to the queue. We're coming back, y'all. We're coming back. Meet me right back here.
Queen Mother, Queen Mother.